I don't know much about football. I know they're gorgeous, young, muscular boys who beat each other up.
All right, guys, we're gonna get out there and we're gonna do it for the Gipper.
I think Joe Montana's a doll. I directed Joe Montana in a commercial. He's rather cute.
I know nothing about football until this interview. I thought NFL was not for ladies.
They're in circles and they're hitting each other on the butt and their little butts are running around. And that's like kind of a, they're playing out there like puppies.
I think we would all pat each other on the ass a lot more than we do if we felt that there was social permission for it.
When a man works out this tension in relationship to football, he is a better lover in bed.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
I love football. This is not saying that I don't love football. It's just saying I don't understand it. And we can love things that we don't understand. I mean, I'm married. I've been married for 20 years, and I still don't understand it.
Third down and about 6 or 7. Looking again. Needs a first down. He's breaking off to the left. Breaking off. Now he's going to throw to a man open in the middle.
Hi, I'm Steve Sable, president of NFL Films. I'm sure most of you know me from my weekly football series, This is the NFL. But today, we're going where few men have dared to go in football, to women. You see, I grew up with football.
Hi, I'm Blair Sable. I'm his sister. I grew up with him and football.
Blair, what are you doing here? You just can't walk in the middle of a taping. I am taping a special program. Now, come on.
But you can't do this show. You're all wrong for it.
Wrong for it? I'm president of NFL Films. Well, move. Here at NFL Films, we take great pride in delivering the most dramatic perspectives in sport. Our riveting footage allows us to marvel at warriors who rise from the muddy gridiron and transform themselves into heroes right before 1 trillion eyes.
Oh, who cares? That's not what this show is all about. It's about women.
But I know something about women, Blair, and I'm trying to introduce a very special perspective.
You can't. You have no idea what this unique perspective is about. It's about a woman's perspective on football. Didn't you see the list of celebrities we have? I mean,
Yep.
This isn't about muscles rising from the mud. It's about women. So unless you've popped some estrogen lately, I think you're done for this show. Don't make me call Dad. Well, as you can see, it hasn't always been easy in our house when it comes to football, and I'm sure it isn't easy in your household either. That's because it's their game, the guys. It's almost taboo to talk to us about it. They've been trying to keep us out for years, but not anymore. 40% of all football spectators are women. That means 35 million of us. In this era of women, we're in. We're in the stands, we're in the locker room, we're in the broadcast booth. Today, you're going to see just how in we are. We've talked football with women all across the country to get their feelings about this national passion. We've talked about the violence, the exhilaration, and even the sex appeal. So look out, guys, we're coming in. Let the invasion begin.
There's absolutely nothing I hate about the game. I even love sitting there in the freezing cold.
It's a rough game. It's really like being a stuntman in hell.
You understand that if you don't like football in Texas, they shoot you.
I learned at an early age that in order to be accepted in a state like Texas, you had to talk football.
Oh, I love football. It's exciting. You never know what's going to happen next. It can be very boring 1 minute, and just like that, it turns around, and you'll be jumping and screaming.
I don't really understand all the hype that's surrounded around football. I think that there's a lot better things to do with our time, especially for families.
I was a football hostage. And what I mean by that is I grew up in a house with a father and 3 boys. I was the only girl. So every Saturday and Sunday, we watched football.
You know, I grew up with 6 brothers, so it's like growing up in the small primate house.
I kind of have a background in football. I have 9 older brothers, so.
My family was a bunch of girls. My dad took us to every sporting event, but football was my favorite.
I remember when I was growing up in elementary school and junior high school, I used to play on the boys' flag football team. And my older brothers used to teach me how to tackle and how to be rough and physical. But as much as I love football, there's no way in the world I'd go against Lawrence Taylor.
Baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs and have some fun.
Football's the greatest game. You get to hit people, it's perfectly allowed. You don't have to help them up. You can knock them down and spit on them. And for a little girl, that's a very freeing thing. You don't, the girl games are, you know, involve agreeing with other girls and holding the rope and things like that. And the boy games allowed you to get some aggression out, which is kind of fun.
Come on, you guys, do something! Get in there!
I don't get it because it is of no interest to me. I am not mesmerized by it. I don't like it. It is not a turn on. I hate it.
I just can't imagine why people would like this game. I mean, basically all they do is they blow the whistle. People from opposing sides all run into each other. They blow the whistle and everybody stops. And I could never understand why people consider that a game.
All I hear is that's what it sounds like to me.
The officials are looking under the pile, and we don't have replay. Get in the end zone. I believe it's a touchdown. Let's see.
I loathe football. I think it's a waste of time. I hate all sports, but football I think is the worst.
And I hear people go, whoa! Ah! Whoa! Yeah! And the living room is always a mess, and it's not my thing.
Well, I love football. It's a real escape for me, but not for the reasons you probably think. I give my husband a beer, I turn the TV up real loud, I leave the room, shut the door, and have time for myself.
I think it's a big macho game, and I think every American boy would like to be a football player.
You know, there's passion, there's grandeur, there's fierceness, there's love. There are all of those elements that kind of go up into making life. And it's suddenly, you know, right there in a microcosm.
It's macho, and it's, you know, it's male, but thank God. I mean, yay.
5, 10, 12, 15, 17, 10, 6, 5, touchdown.
I love the atmosphere. They'll pass like the brandy. You feel like wild, woo-woo. I love all that. I truly don't know what is going on. Truly do not understand.
I've had many, many people from my childhood, old boyfriends and a couple of women friends, try to say what was happening after the whistle blew, and I have no idea. So I'm sort of deficient.
Scientists have never found any woman genetically deficient in understanding football and how it works. But there are many women who don't choose to do so, and many men who are very relieved about that.
I get bored when they don't make baskets.
I know that these guys have the ball, and they want to get it over there, and those guys over there don't want to let these guys get the ball over there.
Then why are they stopping? Why are they throwing in that flag? Where's the ball? Who's got the ball? Where is it? Who's got it?
Block that kick, hold that line, push him back. I'm so confused.
I mean, I thought they did everything mysteriously in the huts. Huddles.
No, I think they're making out in the huddle. They're swapping spit, big time, okay?
I hope not. I like to think of it more as a feeling circle. The guys get in a circle and they say, Bob, how you feeling? I don't know. I kind of have cramps today. Men don't get. Well, maybe they do. They get a cramp in their muscle.
The only thing I don't like about the huddle is because I'm very paranoid. I always think they're in there whispering about me.
Football to me would be like learning a third language.
It's just foreign, really foreign to me.
There's like this and that and that. Blah.
That's offside. Am I right?
I didn't even know they had hand signals in football.
First down. What is this? Second down? Third down? What is this?
This means get perpendicular to this guy. This means that.
No, this is wait. Help.
I like when they do this, you know. They're voguing. That's what they're doing. These guys, that's all they're doing. They want to be in a Madonna video, these guys, these referees. It's like, let your body move to the music. Vogue.
I don't know why people think football players are stupid. I mean, how stupid could you be if you could understand football?
There are some who've run their heads into into a brick wall one too many times. But there are an awful lot of smart guys out there on that field. Football is not a dumb sport.
I know what this means.
I think the most important thing to understand is that there's 4 downs to a play.
Separate the teams into defense and offense, and then learn the positions on each team.
You learn your quarters and learn who has offensive control, who has defensive control, things like that.
Understand you got to go 10 yards and you got 4 chances to do it.
And the whole purpose is to get to the other end of the field.
I don't think it's the hardest thing in the world to pick up. It's not like being a rocket scientist. It is a game.
Women don't understand the game of football because they haven't been given the opportunity to understand it. They haven't been given the time of day to learn the game, and I think women want to learn the game.
Good evening, ladies, and welcome to our ladies-only Monday Night Football class. And as usual, we start out, I give you a little test.
My wife came up with the idea. Being someone that followed football as long as she did, following my career, there were still a lot of things she didn't understand about the game, and she felt like there were a lot of other people out there that didn't understand it. And when I retired in '90, we started doing the classes, and now we get 150, 200 women almost every week that show up to learn the game of football.
There is a favorite position of the ladies' Monday Night Football class, and that is?
I teach them just like I teach my son. I teach them like I would teach the game of football. I think that's the only way to do it.
Throughout a number of weeks, we've covered a whole lot of different things. We've put running plays in. We've done, what a down is, how many yards to get a first down, the size of the field, number of players, positions. Today, we're going to put in a passing play.
We'll start out with, it takes 10 yards for a first down, and, what does a down mean, and how long is the field? I mean, by the end of the year, they want to know about safety blitzes and red dogs and, how to control the clock and time management.
Yes.
When would you use the shotgun? What type of pass would it be? A good game? You have to have a certain type defense for that.
There are really 2 primary situations. One, when you have long yardage to go. 3rd and 10 or more, 3rd and 7, or in the 2-minute, or you're way behind in the ball game, you're trying to catch up. That's when you use the shotgun because you're trying for big plays and to get big chunks of yardage. But
I've learned so much about football through Ron, and we've actually got to play, and I got to be a quarterback in some of the little setups that we had, so I got to see really what a quarterback does. Firm, 343, backs, flat. Ready, backs up, break! You have to be very, very smart to play football. I have learned to appreciate that in watching Ron teach us. I mean, you can't be a dummy to play football. You better block me.
I'm coming to, look out.
Okay, ready? I can't say like blue 40. Blue 42. Blue 42. Hey. Hey. That was a good one.
What really helped me was learning the positions and what each position was responsible for.
Anybody break any nails? No.
I've gone home and told my husband, oh, that's this playing, that's this playing. He's going, what? You know what it is now?
What are you planning to do now? Have you ever been to Disney World?
I love it. I like everything that has something to do with He-Man. You have to be a He-Man to be a football player.
I can certainly understand why women would go goo-goo gaga over guys on a football field.
I think of football players as being sexy, good-looking guys.
I love football players.
Well, I was looking around and checking out my very best friends. Seems that they'd all taken up with young men. Seems that when you reach around middle age, you don't...
Checking out all the behind.
You want to write another page? I need a young man to drive away my middle-age blues. Check this out. Well, seems like men my age are all married, boring or tied. You gotta find a young man if you wanna feel desired. Now, some of my friends is worried about what people may say. I say age ain't nothing but a number, the good Lord made it that way. I need a young man to drive away my middle-aged blues.
Football players do have great butts.
It's unbelievable when you get alongside one of these football players and you just see how big they are from their ankles, well, from the size of their shoe actually, all the way up. I mean, there's something sexy about a big guy.
Man with a big buff body, fabulous.
I like a big, strapping, hunky kind of linebacker. That's my kind of player. Those guys named Jumbo and Beefy and Porky and that kind of stuff.
I love big men.
Women are still very ambivalent. They want these sensitive, caring men, but they also love this idea of brute force macho.
It's great to look at a body and say, isn't that body a nice form? And ooh, it's coming towards me.
I can appreciate a good set of buns. That's a little big.
He's a beefy burrito of manhood.
Like him, cute blue eyes. Like him, cute.
That's what I go on, cuteness.
It's sort of frightening to think of having Howie Long on top of me. I had that thought. Howie.
I love a man with pig skin. I love a man who knows how to throw a pig to another man, especially when he's wearing tights and a helmet and big fat shoulder pads and smeared eye makeup.
I think the outfits are ridiculous looking. I mean, they just look so silly. They look like these bizarre dolls made up by some bionic toy company. It looks ridiculous.
I don't like football anymore, and I'll tell you why. It's those shiny lycra pants. That has ruined the game of football for me. I mean, what big, macho black man in his right mind is gonna wear shiny lycra pants?
And then they've got that black stuff under their eyes, a look I like.
Excuse me, raccoon head.
The only thing that always makes me laugh about the uniforms, if I see the number, I wonder if it's their number or their IQ.
When I used to be married, I used to have to paint a number on my nightgown to get noticed at all, you know.
He wants the shoulders, he wants the helmet, he wants the whole thing. He loves it. To me, it's a Halloween costume.
I think the uniforms are the way they are because they've been extremely well thought out. I started out my own business in '78 making the heavyweight, tight spandex that I think is very sexy on a football field.
I think there is a sensual shape to it. You know, the legging, the t-shirt, the padding behind it. I mean, it's sort of like the man's bodysuit that I've been trying to get men into for a long time.
I love the shape. It's that real triangular wedge. I really think that they need to improve the uniforms because I think if they had like batteries or something in their gloves, so when they catch the ball, their helmet lights up. And that way you can tell who's got the ball.
If I had my druthers and I redesigned the uniforms, I'd take away the cleats, take away the pants, the shirts, the paddings, and they'd be out there playing in cups.
I don't think I ever uttered the words, I like football, but I did sometimes fake having a good time in the stands.
I know girls who do fake liking football so that it'll seem like they have more in common with their boyfriends and they can bond on that level and all that. No, I don't think it's a good idea to fake things.
Let me explain to you. Most women fake everything, so it's not so terrible faking liking football. Of course, if the man that you're with loves it, you go. The same as you expect him to do certain things. Absolutely.
Faking loving football can be like faking loving sex. You don't do it to really delude yourself or your partner. You do it so that you get over the hump of really not liking it, and then the faking becomes real.
I second faking in a lot of areas in interpersonal relationships. I think a little discreet faking is the glue that keeps us together in a lot of ways.
I've never been able to fake interest in the game when I've
been dating devotees. I've just had to go in the next room and make a salad.
Maybe I wouldn't choose to spend Sunday like this if you gave me completely free choice, but I will make an effort to share your passion with you.
A man's obsession with football is partly his projection of himself into the game. It's me, he thinks that I'm really out there on that playing field, but overall, it's his involvement and commitment and the intensity of his connection to what he is experiencing. He is really there. That kind of obsession with the game is the same kind of passionate commitment that women find, that sense of being really alive when they're shopping.
I would say that a comparable passion for women would probably be clothes.
Oh, you know, shopping or movies, or, you know, they'd rather be seeing Wuthering Heights for the 57th time than watching football. I mean, I would rather be seeing Wuthering Heights for the 57th time.
I think there are a lot of women who can be passionate about football. I don't think it's necessarily as much of a gender stereotype as people think.
I did get passionate about football. I think there was something about it every Sunday, watching it. It was almost a ritualistic thing. It was kind of the way I used to watch soap operas. I got very hooked on it.
I think women's passion is in talking.
I think women are concerned about their children, maybe, in the same way that men are concerned about football.
For women, I think the biggest passion should be family. But the diamonds are the girls' best friends. Let's not forget about that.
My gut instinct about football is that it is probably one of the silliest games I have ever seen in my life, that is probably the most dangerous.
The violence is disturbing to me.
I can only think, as I'm watching these guys kill each other, what are their lives going to be like later on?
Certainly, even as a kid, when I was in high school, I was frequently found to be pointing out that a game that required an ambulance on the field at all times was not exactly a lighthearted pursuit.
I think that football exists and has a place in our society because it's violent. I think that a sanctioned outlet for violence has a place. It allows otherwise civilized people to be sort of uncivilized.
Okay, let's play ball. And no matter what else you do, you hit, hit, hit.
I don't think so much about the violence of the game or the players as the violence and the strange sort of out-of-body rage of these millions of people who are glued to it like a soap opera.
People have a very primitive instinct that attracts them to seeing that kind of violent interaction between people, and the gladiators would be what happened a long, long time ago, and football is the 90s version of that.
We want blood! This is gladiator time! Gladiator time!
I think football is a magnificent way to express verbally, physically, when you watch the game, especially because you're barking at a television versus barking at your kid or your wife. I think it's an excellent way to express that energy that you may have pent up from a rough week.
I don't believe that theory that you get out your violence in sports and therefore you're less inclined to go out and be violent in everyday life. I think actually violence fosters more violence.
Well, I think the reason that football is violent is the fact that men play it. Games become violent when men play them.
Men are raised in this culture to be very physical. They're raised to be very competitive.
Society puts a lot more pressure on them to get to the top.
Come on, you're pulling up with your women! Come on!
They have no, quote, masculine identity, unless they are making a lot of money being aggressive, and it's a slide up there, you know, to being violent.
It's simpler and truer, how often the two go hand in hand, to say that boys are violent. They like war, and they like football. Some prefer war, some prefer football.
I actually think football should be where we do wars.
Time to go to war.
Instead of actually shooting bullets. I think we should just get teams from around the world.
And everyone have pads and a helmet on and run around and hit each other. That would be good.
Of course it's a violent game. Of course it's a war game.
Absolutely, it's a war game. Better war games than wars.
Both men and women, and boys and girls, often use sports as a way of letting out some aggressions.
I think that football gives men an opportunity for an institutionalized structure for a certain kind of aggression and competition.
I don't know whether women are trained to get their aggression out in other ways or whether we are truly different. I'm a very aggressive person. I have had to train myself to not be so physically aggressive.
But there should be things in which women are able to more fully express a healthy energy of aggression. You know, there's a difference between aggression and attack. There's a difference between aggression and violence. I mean, there's something beautiful about male force.
I think women's aggression is alive and well and very treacherous and very subtle and very sat on and very veiled and very mean and very deadly. But I don't think it's about throwing one's full body weight at somebody else and hoping they don't get up off the ground.
I have never seen more patting on the butts and on the shoulder and hitting one another on the helmets and hugging one another and whoa and bang. I mean, it is an astonishing kind of male bonding that goes on out there. It's like a ritual.
Together we can do it. Nobody can do it alone, but together we can do it.
This is the way they express the camaraderie, the whole bonding. I don't want to sound like Margaret Mead here, but the point is, this is the way they learn to socialize, by acting out on a playing field.
They're very physically familiar with one another. They pat each other on the behinds, they kiss, they hug, they throw each other in the air.
You know, that was a good play. Let me hit you in the head. I love you so much, I just want to bang your head.
They're on fire! Let me tell you, they are on fire for each other. Most of these men are closet. They can't wait to come out.
Hey, you know you really look pretty good today. Ah, thank you.
Oh, good. I'm going to be popular with the NFL.
I think it's really beautiful that football players jump on top of each other and kiss each other and pat each other. I think that's great.
It's just men admiring the fact that they're men. They're just thrilled to be boys. And they're saying, hey, I'm a boy, you're a boy, we're boys. It's great.
This is no accident, this sport. This is an important part of socialization. To get philosophical about it.
There are many times that what's happening on the field is comparable to a rather rough ballet.
Barry Sanders with a move that Mikhail Baryshnikov couldn't make.
I've always given dancers the image of wind, being windswept as they're running across the stage or as they're doing a jump that they have to go higher than anyone else. And I'm picturing in my mind right now football players in the strangest positions in the air. I think photographers are fantastic when they capture that. And I also think you can actually see the beauty of what the human body can do.
When I'm on the field shooting the game, what I see through the lens is really just tight action. I don't get to see the whole game. Sometimes I don't know what's really going on because I see the ball, I see someone running, I see someone coming to get him, and you see a pass coming, so you're just always anticipating and you really don't get to see the whole game. I guess there's maybe about 40 photographers on the field from news media and TV and stills, and I'd say that maybe you've got 35, 38 male photographers and maybe 2 women. I think I'm just as qualified to shoot football as a male because no one treats me differently on the field because I am a woman. Randall's doing a 3rd and long, and he's not going to say, oh, there's the female photographers down at the end of the field, and he's not going to throw a bomb to Barnett just because the female photographers are down there. It doesn't make any difference if you're a woman once you're on the field. When you cover football, there are a lot of elements that you have to include. You have to get your action shot, you have to tell the story of the game. If Randall's being sacked a lot, you need sack pictures, you need emotion pictures. Maybe someone's crying on the sideline. I once shot this picture of Randall crying, and I was the only one who had it because I was really watching him with a tight lens. I think that the reason why I've succeeded in being able to shoot football is because of my persistence of wanting to shoot the game. I went on my days off to the games. I went on my days off out to training camp. I got to know the players, and I think that I really pushed the issue, and so I was successful at breaking into the game, and I think that a man or a woman could do that. I try not to think of myself as a woman, but more as a photographer and a professional.
Let's have some fun playing football our style. We control the tempo of this football game today. Now let's go.
When Bill got this job, we went out to dinner with Marty and Patty Schottenheimer, who are very good friends of ours, and Marty said to Bill, "You're not one of the boys anymore. You're the boss." And Patty looked me straight in the eye and she said, "And you're not one of the girls. You're the boss's wife." And I laughed then, but it is different. You take losing just a little bit harder, and that perhaps you enjoy winning just a little bit more.
Well, I think losing is very unpleasant. It really is. Winning is the highest high and losing is the lowest low.
I think that's the hardest part about being in football, is that the highs and the lows. You know, after you win, you're so happy, and then, you know, the next week you could lose and you're really down. And I think it's hard coping with that.
We got to rush the quarterback relentlessly. Relentlessly, let's get after them, stop them. Let's go.
I'm a very emotional person, and I think I'm emotional during the games. However, I surround myself with people that know what the stakes are. It's not a social day for me. I'm not entertaining. I'd surround myself with family and close friends and people that understand how important winning and losing really are. I think that Bill works so hard in preparation during the week that on game day, he's pretty calm, and I'm an emotional wreck.
I turn on every television in the house, and I'll rotate. If we're doing well in front of one TV, I'll tend to stay there. If we're not doing well, I'll tend to move to another TV and see how that one works. You know, sometimes it's the television's fault.
I pace. I really do. I pace back and forth. I have a lot of nervous energy. We have 3 televisions, one in the kitchen, one in the family room, one in the bedroom, and I kind of run from TV to TV. I bet I run as much as one of the running backs during a game. I really do.
It's very difficult to just sit there and watch the game. You've got to be doing something else. And television is so close to this person. You know, they show close-ups, things I can't see when I'm in the stadium. And I talk to myself. It's terrible. I yell and scream. I don't do that at the game, but I do it at home.
I iron a lot. I save clothes all week long. We have lots of clothes that have scorch marks and everything, but anything to stay busy. I cannot just sit and watch the game.
I might bake. I like to bake cookies. I would sew if there was something. I would have a project. I used to knit a lot during the games.
I try to keep myself calm and relaxed. If I became more involved in the game and the plays being run, then I found I tend to start coaching, and we don't need 2 in the family. 1 is sufficient.
When we go to dinner, he's in deep thought, and all the X's and O's are all over the tablecloth and the napkins and all over the house. You can find them anywhere except on the toilet paper, I suppose.
He's never drawn an X and O's on my back, but he's called me coach a lot. You know, he's with the assistant coaches almost 24 hours a day, so we'll be in the middle of a conversation. Yeah, coach, that's right, coach.
Oh my God! What are you doing?
Stupid.
That's 2 tackles. Nice block, Adrian. Good block. Nice kick. Yes! Yes! Come on, crowd. Come on, fans. Get in the game. Let's go.
Well, I think I understand the game quite well, especially, you know, for a female, so to speak, that's never played the game. I met him in college and asked him what position he played, and he said linebacker, and I think I said, is that offense or defense? So that tells you how much I knew about football.
I didn't know anything when we got married. But we were in Miami for about 6 or 7 years, and I sat next to Dorothy Shula that whole time, and she knew a lot about the game. Dorothy was loyalty, your husband's best friend, to be there for him, support, family is the most important thing. She was a very loyal wife and friend, and Don's strongest supporter and David's. She was a superwoman.
Whatever you do, being a school teacher or if you're in the business world, whatever it is, I've always been pushed by my mother to be the best, whatever I do. When I first started playing football, you know, she didn't really understand it, but after she saw that it was something that I was really into and I really loved, she always talked to me about, hey, you know, if you're gonna go out there and do it, don't just do it halfway.
From my mom, I think I've gotten the mental hard-headedness that won't let you give up. That hot-blooded Sicilian temper gets going and inside of me, too, and, you know, it just makes you want to press forward no matter what's happened to you.
If you can take all the things that you deal with in football, if I say hi, Mom, it's saying hi, Mom. I mean, it's tough out here. I can't stand it. I'm sweating. I'm hot. My ankle hurt, but I still love it. Hi, Mom. I learned that from you. Even though I messed up, didn't do what you wanted me to do, wasn't always there the way you wanted me to be, sometimes gave you a hard time, you still love me. So when I say hi, Mom, it means that I still love it.
Hi, Mom. Presto bottega che la vita. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom.
Rob, are they holding you?
40 bases all over.
Don't let them hold you.
Yes, sir.
Don't let them hold you.
I want everybody flying him. I don't want to see him jumping back and forth, breaking tackles. Let's tackle a guy.
People see him on the sidelines, and I think one of the biggest misconceptions they have is how can this football coach that's so intense and so competitive be such a great dad, and he is, and I like to make sure I tell everyone all about it. Remember when I was younger, I always wanted to grow up and be the first woman NFL football coach. I used to go to training camp with him, and it was an opportunity for he and I to spend some time together, go to lunch with all the players and watch practice from the sidelines, and that was when I decided I was going to be the first woman NFL coach, and it doesn't look like that'll happen, but I have some other future aspirations such as that.
I think women are definitely making inroads in American life across the board, including football, but I think it's incremental, and I think it's slow, and it takes a lot of time. We had a banner year for women in the United States Senate, but there's still only 6 out of 100 senators are women. It's taken over 200 years of the Republic to have a woman press secretary. How many years has the NFL been in existence, or professional football? Nearly 100 years now, and you have your first woman scout and your first woman directing a broadcast. So I think it's very encouraging that there is this progress, but it's taken a long time. It's going to take a lot longer. I think we just have to hang in there and keep plugging away.
1987, December 20th, I became the first and the only woman to have ever, and still ever, to direct NFL football games.
Here we go. 5, 4 to A, 3 to A, 2, roll A, track and take A.
Welcome to the Seattle Kingdom, where today 2 of the league's best...
Ready, dissolve 1 in font, dissolve 1 in font.
Chevy MVP of the game, Tommy Davis of Troy.
Don't do that. Why not, Joe? Then we'll go to Chevy, and then courtesy's copyright. If I need...
I've been with CBS since 1970. I started as a secretary and really climbed the ladder rung by rung. I thought originally I wanted to produce, and then I just saw the control that a director had. You know, you're calling the shots, you're the one making the mistake. I mean, that's the hot seat, and that's the control I like.
Dissolve the 5. We'll come right to you, too.
Okay. And keep on going to me.
Okay. I work with different production teams, and the technicians that I work with, male-dominated. It's a man's world that you're going into.
Okay. The key then would be to show the sidelines, to show that his foot is out of bounds.
There aren't the little whispers, oh, she missed this here, he would have had that. It's a family, and I've been a part of it, and I like to maintain that family attitude. You know, we tell jokes, we'll have a good time, and I think that that's part of it. I stay loose, I'm comfortable, I'm confident, and they have confidence in me to guide them where we're going during the game.
Camera 3, give me the coach. You're
Go back
fine.
to the lineups. Listen to Cathy,
All right,
please.
No, he heard me say, give me the coach,
did he?
but not realizing it was a camera.
You get over the part that it's a man's world, will always be a man's world, with little dents made by women, but you've got to be yourself. I mean, I don't try to be anybody that I'm not.
I think women have made tremendous strides as far as breaking into reporting and covering the male sports. I think women can add such a different perspective, and sometimes it's the female reporters who are able to get that inside information more so than their male counterparts.
You know, one of the wonderful things about John Madden, when you watch him, is that he really loves the game. And if a woman really loves the game, I don't mind hearing from her either.
But remember, when I did this, which was a long time ago, the fact that I was even there was a miracle. I mean, and I think many people thought I wouldn't last longer than 30 minutes. And then I just kept showing up. Well, she's here to stay.
The first time I heard a woman giving sports news, I was absolutely shocked. This was a number of years ago. But now I've really gotten used to it. I don't see there's any reason why they shouldn't be able to give out the information just as well as anybody else.
And now, if you're going to sit there and read scores or just read the news, anybody can do that. But when you get into a one-on-one interview situation or some of these quick little, you know, you've got a 10-second bite you have to fill, I've been pretty impressed with these women.
I saw every single guy that I interviewed as more than just a player. And that was always one of the focuses of the interviews that I did. I wanted to see what was behind the number. You know, what was this guy all about?
They go out there and they do just as good a job, if not better, than some of the men sportscasters that I've seen. So I'll say to all the women that are thinking about going into sportscasting, go on and do it.
In 3, 2, 1. I'm Andrea Kremer, ESPN. For 4 years, that's how I've been signing off my stories from the network. During the football season, I can primarily be seen on NFL Game Day, our pregame show, our Emmy Award-winning pregame show, if I may add. And then usually I'm at 1 or 2 games every single week of the football season. You just don't make me throw it like a girl, right? Is that it? I've been working in a male-dominated profession for so long that it doesn't faze me anymore. And I hate to say, put it in terms of gender, but preparation is key for all women because we're judged differently. There's no margin for error. You can't make a mistake. So you have to know everything going in and can't screw up, can't mess up. Mr. Moon, Warren. How are you? How you feeling, huh? How you doing? Good. For me, working pregame, I want to try to find out any little bits of information that I can use. So that's part of what I do pregame. But also there's people that I enjoy seeing.
Does this make it onto inside the NFL?
It makes it somewhere.
Go ahead, ask them. Are women accepted in sports these days? What do you think?
1,000%.
Yeah.
Not only accepted, they are welcome.
They are welcome. Good. If I happen to run into the commissioner of the NFL, it's nice for me to say hello to him. I have a question for you. I don't want to get into too much business with the game beginning, but I was talking to Reggie White the other day. Good public relations there as well. The first thing I ever hear when people see me, fans, players even, I didn't realize you were so small in person. Hey, Cody. Nice to see you again. How are you?
Just fine. How you doing?
Good. We're coming to you in about 2 minutes. Okay. Yes, I will admit it. I actually stand on something to give me a little height. When you're standing next to someone that's 6'4", and you're my size, you don't want anything to divert you from what you're seeing, which is the interview. No laughing. You don't want anything that's distracting to the eye. Which means if you have the opportunity to stand on a case, then I will. Love the respect you get around here, you know, it's wonderful.
You ought to do it out in middle school.
That's right. If nothing else, it's always a wonderful conversation starter. It makes them laugh to see me doing this. And my lack of size can actually be an asset when you're in a locker room situation. Fun time, the locker room. Ooh, women in the locker room. I don't have to bend down very far. If there's a large group of people, I can always sort of sneak in the very front. 99% of the time, I am asked, what's it like being in the locker room? And I'm sick of it. I have a personal philosophy that I will not interview a naked man.
You know, definitely in certain areas you can always
put on a robe or put on a towel.
As good as a season as you've had, do you feel that people...
If he's not dressed, I'll wait, and if I'm really running on deadline, I'll say, could you just go over there and ask him to put something on? Can you put something on? Is it on? Can I come over there? Being in the locker room is not a sexual experience. Being in the locker room is part of my job You're going in there to ask questions. You have a purpose. It is not to take a peek.
Favorite reporter right here. How you
Oh
doing,
my
man?
goodness, great.
How you doing?
Good, how are
Good
you?
workup now, huh?
Thank you.
Keep
Pardon?
it going.
Yeah, oh
Good
yeah.
interview with Haywood. I watch you all the time now.
Oh, great.
I'm a loyal fan of yours.
Thank you. Just
Keep it
because of
going now.
Haywood, right? 'Cause
No,
of
no,
Haywood.
no. I watch all the time.
With a Y. See, at least I asked, right? You're an Oiler fan?
Oh, yeah.
I always get embarrassed when I get recognized. Whenever somebody asks me for an autograph, my initial reaction is, why do you want mine? But it's something, it's nice. Thanks a lot. Hope they do good for you tonight. You know people are actually watching and paying attention. The more they see you, the more they recognize you, the greater the credibility is. And that's what it all boils down to. I work darn hard to make sure it is this way, but I think that I'm pretty well respected by people in football.
My name is John Booty, formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles, now one of the newest members of the Phoenix Cardinals. And I would like you all to meet my agent, Ellen M. Zavian, right here.
I think there's myself and one other woman that's an attorney. And then I think she has one client. So the people that I become in contact with haven't dealt with a woman yet at all, and not at the level of where I'm at.
You know, in the beginning stage of my career, and I was kind of shocked. I'm like, man, what these people gonna think, you know, all this, and I said, forget it, you know, this is my attorney, you know. But as we've grown, and she's earned the respect, and she is one of the best agents out there, I think. You know, and I'm proud to say it's my agent.
First, I'm their employee, absolutely. And second, I'd like to think I'm walking next to them, not walking in front of them or not walking behind them. We're growing together. But you wanted to sign in June. How are you gonna wait that long? I couldn't wait that long. My players are a big part of my life and my family's life. And this year for Passover, I've asked John and Sartis to come over. So I'm looking forward for them to see my background. And as I was telling John, we were slaves too, so we have something in common. We're survivors. People in the business want me to stay here because they feel I'm honest and they can trust me. I have general managers and director of scouting sometimes call me and ask me a technical question that they probably wouldn't ask a male because there's no like ego to ego here on macho or Ellen, I don't want to call the league office. Can you find out for me, you know, what this means? I'm starting to get asked technical questions instead of what it's like being a female in the business.
And I think the reason why she's successful is she believes in herself. And she's told me several 100,000 times that she is the most prepared agent out there. And I said,
I don't think I've ever said that.
But anyway, I know she's prepared, and she got the background, the credentials to prove it. This is a role model. I mean, if there are women out there who want to get in this field, she can always say, I was the first.
I definitely ask myself, why am I doing this almost every other day now? It used to be every day. But I think besides the challenge, I want to give women a choice. I want a woman to be able to say, if this is what I want to do, I can do it. If I want to be a housewife, if I want to play football, whatever I want to do, I have the choice. And that's what I want to leave for the women that come up behind me or next to me and for my kids.
And we're pushing those barriers. We're kind of saying the potential is so fabulous for all of us. A women's football team is in that same category.
I think there are no limitations because women are women. They're subject to the same risks that men are.
In fact, I think the bigger your breasts are, the less, there are no rules. That's it. And if you don't have the big breasts, don't play. Don't play. Go do something else, honey. Make pies.
If you want to do it and you can do it, I don't think there's any reason you shouldn't be able to.
I think every girl's fantasy is to play football.
The coach had already played several games and he hadn't won anything, and he said, I wish I had you on my team. I said, well, come on, let me play, man. He said, no. He said, I could never do that.
We have the right to play football. Girls are equal as guys. We can do mostly anything they can.
I don't think they ought to have a token girl player. I think, you know, she ought to lift weights, and I think she ought to do everything the boys. She needs to earn her place. And if she doesn't earn her place, she has no business playing.
Now, we can make the team. You got to try hard enough, and you got to be as tough as the guys or tougher.
There are a few women out there who really think that they can take the challenge, but I don't think there should be any limitations put on a woman and saying she cannot do that.
I would say get a grip, because who wants to play football? I mean, guys do, but they probably have some biological gene that says, hit.
You know, fencing is a beautiful game. Ping pong is a beautiful game. Playing tennis is beautiful. Riding horses is wonderful. But football is not for a woman to look beautiful.
You're slot, Donna. Straight out, Hazel! Get out there! Out!
I mean, the outfits aren't pretty. You know, you could break things, you can ruin your face. I mean, I don't understand what positive attributes it has to it, but if there are girls that want to do that, then I think they should be allowed to.
Physically, they are not equipped physically. They have soft spots on their body that might get knocked off.
The reporter was asking me about it. Did I get hit hard? And I didn't know it didn't even mess my lipstick.
If they want that sort of physical thing, come over to me and I'll punch them. And that's pretty much it. They can put pads on and then I'll punch them.
Who's going to be the cheerleaders? We're going to have guy cheerleaders? That could be quite interesting.
It's love of the oppressor. Women want to play football because men play football.
We gotta go, we gotta fight, we gotta win, win, win. We gotta pass that big fat pigskin skin.
There are several events in the arts and sciences and sports that Americans rally around. The Nobel Peace Prize is one, the Oscars is another, the Tonys is another, and Super Bowl is another.
I love the idea of the ritual of the Super Bowl. I love that everybody gets together suddenly and cooks a certain kind of thing, and the world stops for that day, certainly in the United States.
It's almost like a Thanksgiving feeling to the whole thing. You go to somebody's house and there's food and there's buffet and there's talk and everybody looks good and the weather is wonderful, and it's just a very it's a very American, homey thing to do. I think it's great.
It's a great reason for me to see your friends on Super Bowl day and, you know, eat and drink and have a party, because there's this mega, major, most important American sport going on.
It's like, okay, everybody else in America is doing this at this moment. I can eat potato chips and pretzels and drink the beer, and there's no guilt attached.
When you say Super Bowl, people say, do you have a ticket? I'm looking for a ticket. I would love to go to the Super Bowl.
I guess this is corny, but it's something that all, you know, it crosses over all racial barriers. You've got your black players, you've got your white players, you got your this, you got your that, you got only guys, of course.
It has a heat about it, doesn't it? It just has a heat about it, and it's hard not to get caught up in it.
There's a focus, and this focus is coming on Sunday to the Super Bowl. It is something that, what is it, 75% of all Americans will be doing together. That's a wonderful thing. That's our American tradition.
Aikman under center wing left. Aikman 7-step drop, throws it right to the goal line. Urban jumping, catch at the 3. Touchdown! Oh, what a play! Oh, what a catch and what a play!
There's definitely something special about listening to the roar of a crowd and you're being in the middle of it. All of a sudden, it's like you're not on planet Earth. It's got to make you feel like you're on cloud 9. There is truly nothing like it in this world. Perhaps the most overwhelming feeling to step on a football field, to be actually down on the field with the stands packed and to hear the players grunting and screaming and cursing and the pads hitting and the helmets banging. It just sounds like thunder and lightning.
I mean, I really can't even imagine what it would be like to hear that and to feel that kind of energy coming, you know, being directed toward you in the game.
It feels very glamorous. You feel that you're at the center of the universe. The lights are all on. It's show business. It's just like being on a stage in front of the world.
Then you get kind of chill bumps all over and your adrenaline starts to rush. And there's no feeling like it in the world. I mean, I would love for everyone to be able to go stand on a football field during a game one time in their life to see what it's all about. All you have to do is watch an afternoon of NFL films.
Hey, I gotta get a new ring! New ring's coming up here.
You really feel like you're right there with them when you watch it on television, but to be there is one of the all-time great highs.
35 million of us, Steve. That's who's watching football, and there's still millions more with an opinion. Why, I could see the next show on Kristen Schottenheimer as coach, or maybe a whole show on a women's team or a whole women's league.
No, Claire,
I mean,
that's enough. You're starting to get on my nerves.
Well, you know, Steve, as a matter of fact, I was looking at the NFL Films file here, and I know some women that would be very good at the research or the production. I mean, I think the lighting could be a little softer here.
Blair, you're in, but you're not that in. I'm Steve Sable. I hope you enjoyed our unique perspective on football. Okay, that's a wrap, guys.
But Steve, I have more to say. I mean,
Blair, I covered everything. I covered the filming football in front of a trillion eyes. There's nothing more to say. We're done. Finito. It's a wrap. Let's kill the lights. And I'm going to get this mic off, too. Jeff, could you help me with this thing? I want to get this
And
mic.
I'm Blair Sable for a woman. Steve, just remember that half those trillion eyes wear mascara.
My favorite football player is Randall Cunningham of the Philadelphia Eagles.
I like different topics. I'd have to say James Lofton. They're all our favorite players. Right.
His name is Don Beebe. I'm not sure, but he plays for Buffalo.
Dwight Gooden. Oh, he's a baseball player.
I love Walter Payton when he played.
My favorite player is...
Lawrence Taylor.
Larry Taylor.
Is he the refrigerator, the stove? What is it?
I don't even think his mother called him Larry Taylor.
Martina Navratilova. No, I'm sure I can think of one.
Joe Namath.
And the fridge.
Bo. He plays everything. There's a safe bet. Bo is my favorite football player.
Shaquille O'Neal. I love him.
Tension, excitement, gratification, the play is done. That's football, that's male sex, and you put a cheerleader in there, it's done.